Welcome to Arlington County's tutorial for how to submit an electrical permit application. On the screen is the E-Plan Review Portal, the online system for submitting an electrical permit, which can be accessed by going to building.arlingtonva.us. If this is your first time using the E-Plan system, you can register for an account by clicking Register for an Account. This is a separate account from the Permit Arlington system or the inspection system. Once you have an account, please click Sign In. Please enter your username and your password. Once you sign in, you'll be brought to your home screen. This is where you can see the permits you have started or submitted. You can see some general information about status as well, such as awaiting plan submission, missing required documents, awaiting initial processing, or if it's in plan review. Finally, you can open any existing permit by clicking on the folder here next to the permit to open it. This will take you to the permit application with more information. To start this process, you want to click the drop down here on the left and select your review type. In this case, we are submitting an electrical permit application today. So you want to roll down to Trade Permit Electrical and click. Then you want to click on the Add Project button. This will take you to the permit application. Start the application by typing your E-Plan username. By entering this, you'll be able to pull up contact lookup information if you've entered that earlier. If you have not entered any contact lookups, don't worry, you can still manually enter that information on the permit application. Next, you want to select yes or no if there is an associated building permit with this electrical permit. If a building permit is provided, that building permit must be approved, issued, and active. If the building permit is not active yet and one is required, the electrical permit can be saved for now and submitted after the building permit is active. Once the permit is submitted, staff will validate the building permit matches the scope of work outlined in the electrical permit application. If there are multiple building permits, then a separate electrical permit application must be submitted for each building permit. You fill in the building permit number here. If you do not have a building permit, additional questions will appear at the end of the application. Also, depending on the scope of work, plans may be required to be uploaded and sent to plan review. There is another tutorial on uploading plans and documents. Please be aware that some projects require a building permit to be approved and issued before the electrical permit can be processed. You may also have noticed that red text will pop up in some cases with more information about the question. In this case, this red text is informing us that plans may be required since a building permit is not provided. I also want to mention that at any point you can click Add Project in the upper left-hand corner and then click Save and Return Progress at any point. Save and Return Progress are at the top of the application and at the very bottom in the right. For now, I'm going to continue to answer the questions on the application. This is a helpful feature if you need to look up information like the building permit number and come back later to complete the application. The next question is about the type of building the project is located within. This question is used to determine if the project is considered residential or commercial according to the Virginia Uniform Statewide Building Code. I will select No for this permit. This tutorial is also applicable if the answer is yes to this question, but some different questions might appear on the application. Next, you select the permit holder. That is the person responsible for the work done under this permit. Depending on which option is selected, certain fields may be required on the application or certain forms will be required to be uploaded. This will be identified on the application. For more information about permit holders, please visit the website building.arlingtonva.us. You may notice that some fields have a red asterisk next to them. Those are required fields that must be filled in order to submit the permit. I'm going to purposely not fill in some fields to show what happens when the application is submitted with required questions incomplete. Remember, when filling out things like the tenant name, you want to put in their first name and last name or the full business name. Because I selected that the permit holder was the contractor, I need to fill in the contractor information. Please enter the contractor name, address, and state license number as it appears on the Virginia Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, also known as DPOR. If the permit holder is not the contractor, please leave these fields blank. In addition to the DPOR information, an Arlington County business license or reciprocity is required. If you do not have either of these for the current year, please contact the Arlington County Business Tax Division to obtain one or the other before submitting. Please enter the entire business license number in the field only if you have an Arlington County business license. If the contractor has reciprocity, please upload an email from the Arlington County Business Tax Division confirming reciprocity with your other documents. Next, fill out the legal owner fields. Please enter the legal owner information as it appears on the Arlington County Real Estate Assessment website. There is a link to that website here. If there are multiple job addresses according to real estate assessment, then a separate electrical permit application must be submitted for each address where the work is occurring. If the legal owner information, such as the name of the owner, does not match Arlington County's real estate assessment information, please upload a copy of the signed deed or closing disclosure for the current legal owner. Next, provide a brief description of work. The purpose of this is to make sure the scope of work on the electrical permit matches with the boxes checked below, as well as with the scope of the building permit if one is provided. For example, I'm going to write renovate existing tenant space and then include some details about what that includes, such as expand the kitchen, upgrade electrical, and replace solar panels. Then you'll continue through the application by clicking the checkboxes or selecting the drop-downs of work that will be included in the permit. If your work doesn't include an item, simply leave that checks unboxed. Some checkboxes or drop-downs do not require further information. However, most will require information about the quantity or type of work, such as this case where it's asking how many floors I'll be working on. Please fill out the fields that show up once the box is checked. As mentioned earlier, some items will require a building permit before the electrical permit can be submitted. In those cases, help text will appear with more information. If a checkbox has multiple fields that show up, you only need to fill out those fields that apply to the scope of work for that permit. For example, I'm going to fill out only 2 electrical services between 500 and 1600 amps and leave the other fields as 0 because I don't have that work within my project. Another example under solar panels, I'm going to only fill out the number of replacements and leave blank the new since I'm not adding any new disconnects for this system. I'm going to continue to fill out the rest of the application so this permit can be submitted. If you accidentally check a box that's not part of your project, simply uncheck it. Once you reach the other information fields, a text box for other electrical features, fixtures, receptacles, outlets, or other appliances will need to be filled out only if there are other items that were not already accounted for in the rest of the application above. Otherwise, please leave this option blank. Finally, please fill out your information as the applicant. The email address that you provide here will be used for all communication. So make sure you provide something that you'll be checking regularly so you can get information about the status updates, rejection comments, fees, and other relevant information. Now I'm ready to submit the application, so I'm going to click Add at the top or bottom of the page. In this case, the system won't let me submit the permit application without all of those required fields completed. So I'm going to click OK, and then scroll back through the application to look for blank fields such as this one that are highlighted in red, and then fill them in with the relevant information. Remember, at any point you can choose to save progress and return later at the top or very bottom of the application, so that you can come back later to complete that application. If I clicked Add Project earlier, I would only need to save progress now. But since I did not, I'm going to add the project now. At the very top of the application, the application will refresh, and you'll notice at the very top of the application here, you now have a project ID. This project ID also shows up in the system information. A permit number will be provided once the permit specialist has processed your application and accepted it. Now that we've completed the entire permit application and added the project, we can click Submit for Review in the upper right-hand corner to turn the project in. However, in this case, based on the answers to our questions, this project requires plans or other documents to be uploaded and submitted for review. The application cannot be submitted until that is done. If your project requires plans or documents, please see our other videos about how to upload plans and documents. If the permit did not require plans or other documents, then the project could be submitted without further action. You'll receive emails from the system at critical points that require you to take further actions, or you can check back to the portal, the first page we started on, to see more information about your permit status. To learn more about the steps in the permitting process, how to upload plans, how to schedule inspections, and other information critical to the permitting process, please visit building.arlingtonva.us.